Hello, friends, and welcome to this, special edition of GR Live, because we are about to find out what Bethesda has in store for Elder Scrolls Online in 2022. In just under 10 minutes, the event is going to start. We're, of course, going to be watching it right here, and we're going to figure out what is being added to the MMO during the year. Until that starts, let's theorize a little bit and see if we can suss out some of the stuff that is being shown. So, first of all, let's watch the teaser trailer that was put out by Bethesda advertising this event. So first of all here, we're seeing a ship sailing to what looks like either to be a very big island or an archipelago, a cluster of islands. So that immediately gets you going into like, oh, are they going to introduce ship combat in the game? Or is it just about that you're going to travel to it? I think it's more likely you're just going to travel to it. I don't think okay, if they introduce ship combat, I will be pleasantly but very surprised. But let's keep it going. Now see here on the islands, a settlement. It looks, I can't really see which sort of race it aims towards just from this, but I believe this is definitely like an archipelago. So a new playable area, which, shouldn't come as a big surprise, seeing as it's a whole year of content. So introducing a new playable area is, kind of goes without saying. Now, if you look at these ships here, one has a red sail, the other has blue flags, and the other has yellow flags, kind of indicating that it's one from each faction in game. I don't recognize the armor, so I'm not sure who this is. So yeah, a brand new Elder Scrolls adventure. So, like I said, they're going to talk about everything that is going to be released in the game during the year, and because we were going to be doing this stream right here, they sent me a little bit of a tease in the form of a letter and a coin. But let's take a little bit of a look at what this letter has to say. So, adventure. We seized this letter and medallion as its courier journeyed through Glanumbra. So already there we have what could be a hint, a tease. Glanumbra is a region in High Rock, which is mostly Bretons. So yeah, let's continue. Investigate this organization, uncover their goals, and report back to me. You can name your prize. Lady Arabella DeVoe. Now, DeVoe is a name that we've seen before in the game. I'll touch on that in a little bit, but moving on. So yeah, this is a little note to explain the letter and the medallion below. Our knights obtained this medallion during a raid on a secret Mages Guild workshop. Study it, protect it. Its purpose will play a vital role in the Ascent Order's plans. So, I guess the baddies of the season. Find the mage who created it and send our knights to secure the master template. Remember, we cannot ascend until we meet our overarching goals. The secret of these medallions is the key to our success and the salvation of Tamriel. Do not fail me, your lord. And then it's kind of a fist clutching a crown. Which, yeah, I'm guessing it's a hint, but I'm not quite sussing it out. But I have the coin here as well. Actually, I think I have a video showing off the coin a little bit better. That's not it. So as you can see here, this side is actually quite interesting because you see there's 3 goblets and each of them has a different color. Red, yellow, and blue. Which again, kind of leads me to think that maybe it's some sort of event that will unite the factions towards a common goal. And then on the other side, we have the ship. Actually, let me just show you the bam. A little bit of a close-up. I'm not really sure about this color right here. It might be blue, it might be... It kind of depends on how the light hits it. But yeah. Now, there's a couple of things to go over here. First of all, the name... Okay, so it's... The medallion was picked up in Glenumbra, which is an area in High Rock, which is mostly Britons. And then it's signed by Lady Annabelle DeVoe. And we've seen that name a couple of times in Elder Scrolls Online. For example, Anne DeVoe, who is a Briton messenger. And we have Jorvald DeVoe, who is a Briton mage. So it's all pointing towards Britain. Of course, there's also, there's leaks out there with unverified information on where this new playable area might be and who the story will be mostly about. I'm not gonna touch on that. I'm just talking about hints that we can find already here in the letter and the other stuff that they sent me. Now, it's just 2 minutes until we'll get all the answers that we crave. But, yeah, just this medallion with its 3 colors and the 3... Wait, let me see if I can bring it up here again. And the 3 goblets all pouring towards a common goal. I think it's telling of what the overarching story might end up being. But like I said, it's about 1.5 minutes until the reveal event itself starts. Let me see if I can line it up here. So, all these questions will be answered. But we go here, we have some music. See here, now I'm getting double audio. So, like we see here, 1 minute to go. And of course, this being an MMO that has been going for a while, it has a big community, which means, the chat is firing off with theories based on either what they would like and theories based on, data leaks, which I haven't been able to verify myself. But, yeah, in under a minute, we are going to be going into the reveal event, and Bethesda themselves will tell us what all of this is about and what is going to be happening in Elder Scrolls Online in 2022. And then right after that, we'll pop back in here, we'll have some comments and an interview with some, exclusive information as well. So looking forward to that. But here we go. The countdown is beginning. So let's just head on over and watch the show.
Set nearly 1,000 years before the events in The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion and The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls Online lets you take part in the stories set within the compelling history and deep lore of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Designed to be played exactly the way you want to play, you can start wherever you like. With no level restrictions and no subscription required, this massive world is yours to explore, alone or with friends. Choose a favorite location or storyline and jump in. From the capital cities of the Three Alliances to the magical Somerset Isles. From the Khajiit territory of Elsewhere to Morrowind, the home of the Dark Elves. From frozen Skyrim in the north to the endless swamps of Blackmarsh. Adventure is everywhere. Options for creating and personalizing characters in the Elder Scrolls Online are almost without limit. With access to a multitude of adventures all across the width and breadth of Tamriel, and the freedom to play wherever and however you like, it's time to begin your Elder Scrolls story. Are you ready to forge your own legend?
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the show. I know you're all excited to see the amazing things we have coming up this year, but before we get started, I'd like to take a minute and just talk about the video you just saw. It was a brief description of some of the basic systems of ESO, but the game itself is so much more than that. And I really mean it. ESO is just as much a virtual world as it is a game. As over 20 million of you know, it's part of your lives. Over the last 2 years, we know that so many of you found some temporary respite from the world by spending time in Tamriel. We're so proud and so humbled to help, even in this small way. Everyone at ZeniMax Online is continually reminded that we make the game, but you make it awesome. That's why I want to take a minute to welcome you. Those of you who have been with us from the beginning, those of you who have joined us recently, and the many new players who are looking for a new fantasy virtual world to call home. Welcome to you all. Those new to the game will quickly find that ESO's greatest strength is providing so many different ways to live your virtual life in Tamriel. Solo, group co-op, PvP, crafting, decorating your home, chatting with friends, it's all there. We've got a ton of new things to share with you in today's show. For starters, this year-long adventure will be a return to our storytelling roots. Instead of another Daedric invasion story, 2022 will feature a tale of political intrigue and subterfuge unfolding in a location you have never seen before in an Elder Scrolls game. Ever. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my good friend Pete Hines, who is on set and ready to go.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2022 Elder Scrolls Online Global Reveal event. Today, you're getting an in-depth look at the next year-long adventure in the Elder Scrolls Online. And as Matt mentioned, the team at ZeniMax Online Studios is excited to share exclusive new details about a part of the Elder Scrolls that's never been explored before. And stick around for a special ESO Live after the show, where we'll go over the upcoming chapter as well as new details surrounding our first DLC in this year's adventure. With me once again is the one and only Rich Lambert. Hey, Rich.
Hey, Pete.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and hello to everybody back home.
Congrats on 20 million players. It's a huge accomplishment. For the folks tuning in who may not know a lot about Elder Scrolls Online, give us a sense of what is Elder Scrolls Online.
ESO is an Elder Scrolls game first and foremost, and it is a game about your personal journey through the world. With One Tamriel, we removed all the arbitrary level gates that prevent you from exploring, and you can just pick a direction and go and do whatever you want.
And there's a ton of stuff you can spend your time doing. It's not just like go fight things or do quests, but it's really a breadth of content.
It is. There's so much to do in Elder Scrolls Online, and it ranges from questing to PvP, housing, crafting, the justice system. There's also loads of group-oriented content in our dungeons and trials. We've also got a number of collection-based systems that players can participate in, so from treasure hunting to antiquities, collecting lore books, and it's just, the list goes on and on and on. It's a massive game.
It's an Elder Scrolls game,
It
but
is.
it's online. There's a ton of stuff to do, just like you would expect in an Elder Scrolls game. And much like an Elder Scrolls game, it has an amazing community around it that's built up around ESO. Talk a little bit about the folks that have really made this game what it is.
They're really what makes the game special. It's the community that makes the world come alive. They are incredibly supportive. They just love sharing their love of Elder Scrolls with other players, and are hands down the best community in games.
These folks are truly what make this game special. And, you know, if you want help, they're always there waiting to help you out. But it's really up to you to decide whether you want to play this game by yourself or spend time playing with others.
Absolutely. This is an online game, so you're bound to run across other players. But it's your choice if you want to interact with them or not. And I highly recommend that you do so, because the social bonds that you develop with those players can last a lifetime.
And if you want to play online, but by yourself, but not by yourself, you also have companions, which are NPCs that you can bring along with you. And what does a companion do for you?
A companion is your personal adventuring buddy. They're always there for you, and they can help you out progress through the world. So if you need a little bit of help tanking enemies, you need some extra damage, you need some healing, they're always going to be there for you.
So last question for me before we jump in, because I know you're all super excited to hear what's new. You shared some exciting news last year for the Spanish-speaking community, and I wondered if you had any new details to share with those folks about what's coming.
We do. So back in October, we announced that Spanish localization was coming to ESO in 2022. We're very excited to let everybody know that it will be available with this year's chapter in June. And we're also excited to let you all know that the Spanish forums for the Elder Scrolls Online are live today.
So if you want to come join us on ElderScrollsOnline.com, we've got the Spanish forums up and running live, and we look forward to seeing our Spanish community there. Great stuff, but I know everybody's ready to get to that new content, so what do you got for us?
So I'd like to welcome everybody to High Isle, the next chapter of the Elder Scrolls Online and the centerpiece of this year's Legacy of the Bretons adventure. Let's check out our new cinematic trailer.
So we just got our first look at the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle. Rich, give us a little background on this year's adventure.
This year's adventure is called Legacy of the Bretons, and our focus is on exploring Breton lore and culture. It's a story that's being told over 4 major updates this year, and as Matt said earlier, we're kind of going back to our roots in terms of storytelling. This is going to feel like a classic Elder Scrolls game. The Bretons are this traditional medieval feudal society with knights, noble houses, and of course all the politics that surround that.
Politics. Our fans love politics, Rich. Especially in the Elder Scrolls, at least. So for those familiar with Tamriel in the second area, or maybe not, talk a little bit about the Three Banners War and where it's left Tamriel.
Sure, so the Three Banners War is currently raging throughout Tamriel, and it has left the land fractured, with all the factions vying for power over Cyrodiil and the Imperial City. And this year-long story is focused on a dream to end that war. It's gonna be an adventure.
It's always an adventure. Now, High Isle is a spot that most fans are not gonna be familiar with. It's a bit of an unknown.
It is. It is a location that's never been explored before in an Elder Scrolls game. High Isle is one of the 4 islands in the Sisters Archipelago, which is an island chain located far to the southwest of Daggerfall and northwest of Somerset, and has only ever been documented by a single map in Redguard. And it's really, really exciting for us to be able to do something completely different this year, completely new, and we can't wait to share it with everybody.
Now, we're focused on the Bretons this year. Tell us a little bit more about the Bretons and their culture. What can we expect to learn in this year's adventure?
When you go to High Isle, you are going to see that this is the epitome of Breton culture. This is feudal, medieval castles and tournament grounds. This is a resort destination for Tamriel's wealthy. And as it's far removed from the mainland, it's a bit of a safe haven and therefore a perfect location for secret peace talks between the Alliance delegates. And these peace talks are being hosted by the Society of the Steadfast, which is a new faction led by an extremely wealthy noble in High Isle named Baron Vaquero. And of course, this is an Elder Scrolls story. So, of course, there are groups out there who stand to profit and gain power due to the war. So any hint of peace talks could quickly result in an opposition and sabotage.
Do we know who's behind preventing these peace talks?
We do. So there are whispers of a secret society named the Ascendant Order who threaten to ruin the peace talks. They're led by the Ascendant Lord, and I'm going to leave the rest up to the players to figure out.
Ooh, cliffhanger. Now, it's been a while since Zoss had the opportunity to create and add completely new elements to the Elder Scrolls, so this has to be exciting for you.
It is amazing. It's fun to go back and re-envision content, but conceptualizing an entire region from scratch is daunting. So who better to talk about that than our art director, CJ Greb, and he's going to walk us through it.
Hi, everyone. As always, it's very exciting to be part of creating a brand new Elder Scrolls story. This time, it's the Sisters Archipelago, and it's especially exciting to get to build a little-known and never-before-explored corner of the Elder Scrolls world. Our concept team began finding inspiration for the island's look from the beautiful windswept shores of the Mediterranean. We see stunning waterfalls, imposing cliffs, and oceanside beaches that one would find scattering the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. The landscape highlights the natural beauty of the island, but their civilization as well. Our team knew how important such an edition of the world could be to the deep history and lore of the Bretons, and how important that would be to so many fans of Elder Scrolls. We leaned into the architectural and cultural traditions from medieval and feudal Europe, knowing this could be blended into our established Breton designs from the base game. The dense city streets of Gonfalon Bay and the idyllic coastal palace of Castle Navir are prime examples of the imposing Breton structures and hidden underground catacombs born from that work. Players will also find medieval fanfare and splendor on the tournament grounds where nobility and commoner alike enjoy festivities. The nobles treat High Isle like a resort, and that's reflected in the way the nobles dress. High Isle elite always dress in their finest, projecting their status as not only the leaders of the great family houses, but their barely hidden ambitions to command the archipelago with total power. All of this pomp and circumstance gave us the opportunity to return to the classic medieval armor and attire so distinct of the Breton style: plate armor, tabards, and heraldry. The beauty of High Isle shines like a beacon to the rest of Tamriel, but it can't all be sandy beaches and sunflowers. The dark side of High Isle's success lies directly to the north. There, across the water, you'll find the dense, deadly jungle island of Amanos. This area serves as a prison for criminals and dissidents deemed unworthy of High Isle. Once inside, there are no guards, no law, and little chance of escape. Good luck. There's more than 2 locations that players can look forward to, as the Sisters Archipelago is an island chain players will get to explore throughout the year.
High Isle is one part of the legacy of the Bretons, what we call our year-long adventure. Rich, what else can folks expect?
We're going to start this year off in March with the Ascending Tide DLC, and that adds 2 new dungeons. And stories from that DLC set the tone and provide backstory for the events that kick off in the High Isle chapter in June. And of course, this is a year-long story, so we're going to continue it in Q3 and Q4 later this year.
And it doesn't matter how much you've played ESO in order to experience the new content, right?
Right, both new and returning players can jump in at any time. That's the beauty of ESO. You don't have to level up through years of older content. You don't have to play it in a specific order. You can just jump in and play at your own pace.
Now let's hear from our community team on how you can get started with High Isle today.
Hey everyone, we're here to let you know that starting right now, you can pre-purchase the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle for all platforms. This new chapter will launch on June 6th for PC, Mac, and Stadia, and June 21st on consoles. And just as a reminder, ESO is available on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5, which features 4K high fidelity and 60 FPS performance modes. If you already own the game, you can get this version as a free upgrade. As for High Isle, you can pre-purchase by visiting ElderScrollsOnline.com or one of many online retailers. Now, when you pre-purchase the chapter, you'll immediately receive a matching set of the Pale Frost Elk mount and the limited time Pale Frost Fawn pet. Though keep in mind, the pet is only available if you pre-purchase now through April 4th.
We have a few different ways to hop in and start your adventure in ESO. And if you're wondering which version is right for you, well, we're here to break it down. If you're new to the game and want to dive in right now, the ESO Collection High Isle is for you. This collection gets you instant access to everything the base game has to offer, along with all 5 previous annual chapters. You can play in any order, however you like. So you can begin your Tamriel adventure today, and of course, you'll have full access to High Isle once it launches in June.
Alternatively, if you already own the base game or any of the previous chapters, you'll want to grab the upgrade version.
We also have collector's editions available that are great for new and existing players alike. These editions contain even more bonus items that will be available when High Isle launches, like a brand new mount type and an epic armor outfit style. So what about new merch? We've got that too. If you want to get your hands on some sweet High Isle merch, we have brand new items available for pre-purchase on the Bethesda Gear store, like this Ascendant Lord statue, new High Isle t-shirt, key art lithograph, and more.
We'll both be back right after today's show to give you a first look at the Ascending Tide DLC and Update 33, show off some additional ESO merch, and more. So stick around and we'll see you all soon.
And now let's hear from Lore Master Lehman. He's got details on the story you'll experience in High Isle and some of the characters you'll meet along the way.
Hey gang, I am so psyched to be part of the team bringing a brand new story and new setting to the world of Elder Scrolls. Exploring the legacy of the Bretons provided us with a great opportunity to dig into the history, the culture, and the geography of Western Tamriel. While the Sisters Archipelago has gone unexplored until now, every aspect of its history and culture has roots in the lore of Tamriel. And we have had a blast taking the Bretons out to sea and building High Isle into something familiar, but also profoundly unique. To begin, let's touch on who the Bretons are. They're a fascinating race with a really complex history that hasn't really been touched on in previous Elder Scrolls adventures. The Bretons are a hybrid race, the descendants of both humans and elves, which gives them a unique perspective on Nirn's oldest feud, the conflict between men and Mer. It's a lot more than just knights in shining armor. One of the most distinctive parts of Breton culture is how it's organized. High Isle is an openly feudal society that has a lot in common with the European-style feudalism we see in the mid to late Middle Ages. Peasants and sailors labor at the bottom, while nobles engage in an endless dance of palace intrigues, political marriages, and shifting alliances at the top. In the throne rooms of High Rock and the Sisters' Isles, ruthlessness can be a virtue, so watch your back. It's not all sinister plotting and knives in the dark, though. The high romance of Arthurian legend has a place here, too. Many Breton nobles are stuck navigating court conspiracies, sure, but others, the shining knights of old, set out on grand quests for adventure and glory. And there's plenty of glory to be found in the wilds of High Isle and Amanos. You won't do it alone, though. A few of our favorite ESO characters from High Rock and elsewhere are returning to lend a hand. Jakarn, professional thief and raconteur, and Captain Zaji, the Khajiit captain of the Perfect Pounce, will both help you untangle the plots of the Ascendant Order. The Zealots of the Ascendant Order are the chief antagonists here in the Sisters. These well-armed fanatics want to bring about a new utopia without crowns or thrones, and they're willing to kill as many people as necessary to make that happen. You'll definitely want to keep an eye out for their leaders too, the Ascendant Lord and his chief lieutenant, the Ascendant Magus. These mysterious rulers may have influence that runs deep in the Sisters' Isles. High Isle is packed full of intrigue, adventure, and exciting Breton lore. I can't wait for you to visit the Sisters. You're really going to dig it.
We've discussed the upcoming story and location for our High Isle, but we have a new game system coming with this chapter as well, and I've been waiting this whole time to talk about it because it features something I love. It's a collectible card game.
You're right, and we're calling this new system Tales of Tribute. It's a collectible card game that is played entirely within ESO. This is something I've always wanted to see come to ESO, and I'm super excited we're finally able to add it.
So how will Tales of Tribute be integrated into the game? Like, am I playing it wherever I want? Is it certain situations? How does this work?
You're generally going to be able to play it anywhere. You'll find it in taverns throughout Tamriel. You can also just go up to somebody and challenge them directly, or you can find a match in the group UI. And in addition, there is a storyline that you could advance by challenging certain NPCs throughout the world, or you can play against other players as it has its own ranking system as well.
So there's a single player kind of thing, and there's also a PvP with its own ranking system. Oh, this is getting better and better. Now, how do I earn new cards, new decks? I assume there's some of both. How do I go about doing that?
Yeah, so once you complete the tutorial, you unlock the 4 starter decks, and that's what gets you into playing right away. And then as you explore the world, you complete the quests, you will start to unlock and find new patron decks that add to your cards. You will also find unique individual upgraded cards as well. So there's lots of exploration tacked on top of it.
So you said this CCG was different than other ones. So which one is this like? Is this a resource building game? Is this a combat game? What am I going to be doing?
So this is a resource building game where you're both working towards trying to reach the victory point goal. And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. You can use the patrons themselves to curry favor, to help you advance through it. So it's all about strategy rather than combat.
And essentially, we're on a race to get to a certain number of points, gather the most resources before our opponent does, right? What kind of rewards do I unlock in the game? Like, I assume I'm just not unlocking cards and decks. Do I get to unlock stuff in ESO itself?
Absolutely. There are tons of different rewards in this, ranging from cosmetics to furnishings to gold to crafting materials, including transmute stones, which is something players really, really want. So there's really something for everyone here. And I really want to enforce one big point when it comes to Tales of Tribute, and that is you're not going to be at a disadvantage if you're playing someone who's already unlocked all the cards, all the upgrade cards, because at the start of the game, you pick 2 decks to put into play. Your opponent picks 2 decks. They're shuffled together, and you both play from that same common deck.
So it's not only balanced so that I can play somebody who's been playing forever unlocked, but I also get maybe a chance to try some cards or decks that I haven't unlocked yet.
Absolutely, yep.
Super cool. So excited about this, and I'm sure we got a lot more to share on this.
We do. We just scratched the surface. This is a really big system. So as we get closer to PTS, we'll give a lot more detail and have a big deep dive on this. So stay tuned. We're really, really excited for it.
Now, pardon my terrible pun, but I hear there's something else in the cards, like maybe a new adventuring buddy or 2 to help on quests?
You are correct. So we have 2 new companions coming with High Isle. The community loved the companion system we introduced in Blackwood, so the team has been hard at work adding more. And I don't want to spoil the stories too much, but I'll give a little bit of a tease. to the two new ones. So one is named Ember, and she is a Khajiit, and the other is a Breton named Isabel. Ember grew up on the streets, so she's a little bit morally flexible, if you will. She's clever, she's a bit wild, she has a knack for magic, whereas Isabel, on the other hand, is an aspiring knight who leans towards the honorable ideal. She's not preachy, lecturing, or stiff, though. She just really wants to do right by players.
It sounds amazing. Can't wait to have a new adventuring buddy as we explore the next chapter. Now, before you go, is there anything else?
Yeah, there's tons more info to share with you all. I just want to thank the community. We wouldn't be able to do this without them. And I also want to take a moment to recognize the team back home. You know, everybody at home working on ESO. They're amazingly talented and passionate at what they do, and they get asked to solve impossible problems on a regular basis. It is such a treat to be able to work with this passionate group of people and get to represent them. So from both Matt and I, thank you so much, everybody, for all you do. You're amazing.
Today we've discussed High Isle's interesting locations, characters, and lore. We touched on an upcoming card game system, 2 new companions, and digital rewards players can unlock when they pre-purchase the game. We also announced that ESO will be available with Spanish language support in June. Before we go, I'd like to share a few reminders. ESO High Isle is available to pre-purchase now on all platforms. New players who pre-purchase the ESO Collection High Isle will get instant access to the base game and all previous chapters, so you can start your adventures right away. And stick with us for our post-show hosted by Jess and Gina, who will talk more about the things we've discussed here, as well as the first DLC and the legacy of the Bretons adventure. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in Tamriel.
Well, there you go. It is indeed Bretons that they're going to be focusing on, and it's High Isles that is that archipelago of islands that was shown there. And it's not only going to be one of the islands, High Isle, but it'll be zones in all of the other islands as well. Now, I know that the post-show is starting over on the official channels, and you probably want more information and stuff, but I want to share with you a little interview that we here at Game Director did with with the lead writer and the lore master of the game. So I'm gonna roll that, and maybe you'll get a little bit of information that they didn't talk about in the show. Anyway, let's roll it. Hello everyone, there is news in Elder Scrolls Online. We've just finished watching a live stream where the new season and the next chapter has been announced, and I have caught up with Bill Slavicek, the lead writer, and Lehman Tuttle, the lore master of Elder Scrolls Online, to talk a little bit about it. And well, first of all, hello guys and welcome. And so, Britons finally being explored properly in the Elder Scrolls universe. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're psyched. I know this is a race that folks have been asking for a little bit more clarity on, some more lore, and I think that we've produced that. The Bretons are a hybrid race that are in charge of a region of Tamriel called High Rock, and they're a really cool kind of sort of medieval fantasy / Arthurian legend, lots of magic race. That's in a very feudal society, so you got knights and monsters, and it's a lot of really exciting stuff. So we're jazzed.
Yeah, first time we're getting to dive into that since the launch.
Yeah, and I mean, Britons have always been a big part of the Elder Scrolls lore, but this is like the first time that their backstory, their history is really being focused on, correct?
Yeah, and it's cool too because I think that they get kind of a bad rap sometimes as being like Gennaro fantasy sort of race, but they're not at all. They've got lots of really, really deep lore behind them. Like I said, they've got the kind of Arthurian legend side of things, I think that there's a lot that you can explore with the Bretons in terms of, like I said, feudal societies. If you look to the Middle Ages, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on back then that, if you really kind of dig into it, is more interesting than just, hey, there's kings and knights and that's it, there's also the other side of the race that really doesn't get touched on almost at all is how magically adept they are. They have a lot of elven blood in them, which allows pretty much all of them to have at least some modest resistance to magic, and many of them can kind of perform magic tricks. Just regular Bretons, regular people on the street at least have some sort of inherent association with magic, which is it's a really cool part of their race that we don't really touch on, and that's something that we're going to be talking about in this expansion. Another thing that we're getting to dig into is aspects of their history that have been touched on very briefly, but we're kind of drilling down into those a little bit deeper to give them a kind of a unique identity that has always existed but was never really explored.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about High Isle, this new playable landscape. What can we expect? Aesthetically. I mean, of course, it is themed for the Britons, but yeah, what sort of environments and monsters are players going to be expecting?
It's an archipelago to the west of Tamriel. It's famous for being the place where the All Flags Navy launched thousands of years ago to go fight the Slode. It's the Sisters Archipelago, and we're going to see High Isle, as you said, which is the major island in the system. It's pretty much very similar to the environment in High Rock. It's very rolling hills and forests. We're also going to see Amanos, the prison island, which is more of a jungle island. And those are the two parts of it that we'll get to see in the chapter.
Yeah, and I mean, there seems to be, some built-in tension right out of the gate with, the rule of the High King being kind of, I don't know, looked upon hypocritically. And, this might actually lead into the Three Banners work. What can you tell us about, the kind of storyline that you're going to be digging into here?
Well, we don't want to spoil too much on that. But yes, High King Emmerich will be involved. There is a call for some sort of a conference on the islands, and we have a new group called the Ascendant Order, a group of rogue knights who will be one of our major villains throughout the year. And they get up to all kinds of hijinks as we learn that a lot of this has to do with the legacy of the Bretons, their history that Lehman was alluding to earlier.
Okay, and I think actually I received something in the mail in the lead up to this announcement and this interview, a little bit of a letter, and I want to read very shortly and see if you can maybe help me dig into, because I was like, I'm not quite sure what I'm reading here. As our knight obtained this medallion during a raid on the secret Mages Guild workshop. Study it, protect it. Its purpose will play a vital role in the Ascendant Order's plans. Find the mage who created it and send our knights to secure the master template. And I actually got the medallion here as well, which, I don't know, maybe you can tell me a little bit more about what I'm looking at here.
Well, I think some of that mystery is by design.
Yes. I can tell you that it plays an important part in the upcoming storyline. Obviously, the Ascendant Order is interested in it, but it's not really theirs. If you saw the little note at the top, a character named Lady Arabella has actually sent the player to try to find out what's going on here. Lady Arabella has never appeared in the game before except in books. So it's really cool to get her into the game and make her a major character in the upcoming year.
Okay. Now, aside from the focus on the Britons, a new a new land being added? Are we going to be seeing a new, playable character, new class, something along those lines?
We have 2 new companions coming out in this chapter, as well as the tribute card game, which will be another way to interact with the world of ESO. There's some new monsters, as you asked about earlier. We got the Hadalids, which are a seafaring creature.
Like creepy crab people. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And we've got some Vulkish, which are these lava monsters. So it's lots of new stuff, but nothing along the lines of a new race or a new player character class yet.
Okay. Now, since I do have the lead writer and the lore master here, and seeing as that we are exploring the Britons for the first time, I'd just like to ask, like, how free are you when you actually go into the lore and start exploring what stories you want to tell? Are you able to set it up right from the ground up, or how much do you have to adhere to what has come before and stuff like that?
Well, this is one of the nice things about working on a race or a particular part of the world that hasn't been touched on as much is that we do have a lot of flexibility there. Like we're able to kind of dig down and find kernels of stuff and then expand on those things. So we're always in contact with BGS, and they have always been really generous with their time and helping us craft this stuff and making sure that everything is where they want it to be. But yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's always kind of fun when you get a race or a part of the world that is kind of sort of has a lot of holes in it, because you get to fill them up. And I think we did a pretty good job with some of this stuff. I think people are really going to dig it. There's a sort of a passing reference to the Druids of Galen in earlier titles for Elder Scrolls Arena, and it kind of fell off the map a little bit. People were like, "Oh, what's with the Druids or whatever?" And we're actually getting to dig into that. We're doing some stuff with Druids and the Bretons, which is pretty neat, and we sort of built that from the ground up. So.
Yeah, when we approach this, we try to take what is known about a race and expand upon that, and not just throw anything away or make up stuff whole cloth. We try to build upon the legacy that we've inherited, and I think we do a good job with that.
Yeah, exciting times. Now, for players that want to visit High Isles and start the season from the get-go, when is it actually going to be available to players to play?
That's a good question.
I can't remember. All of our dates are like development dates. We're like, oh, when is that? We got to get that finished.
I know late January will be the Ascending Tide, which is the beginning of the year with the dungeon package, and the prologue for High Isle will be available at that point. And I believe High Isle launches in early June, but I don't have the exact date. I'm sure one of our marketing people can get that for you.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I mean, for those of you watching, just stay tuned to Game Reactor, because be sure we'll let you know there. But I think I'll let you get back to your days. I'm sure there's a little bit of refining left in development, and I don't want to hold that up by keeping you hostage in an interview. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So yeah, there you have it. We now know that High Isles is the theme of the entire year. The Britons are finally getting their moment in the sun. There's going to be 2 companions and a collectible card game that is going to be introduced into Elder Scrolls Online as well. And it's going to be more of a resource management game instead of like a card battler, if you will. And it was interesting when they talked about how they've actually made it so that if you're brand new and you're just starting to play the card game, you're not going to get immediately smashed by somebody that has unlocked all the cards, because you play with a common deck. So you get to maybe play with some cards that you normally wouldn't have access to, and a storyline built in if you play against NPCs. So interesting stuff. And yeah, that's it from us here today. You can, of course, head on over to the official after stream on the Elder Scrolls. I think it's on the Bethesda Softworks YouTube and Twitch, and maybe learn a little bit more there. But yeah, that's it for us from here. Thank you for watching, and make sure to tune in to Game Reactor Live every single weekday, normally between 4 and 6, 1600 hours to 1800 hours Central European Time. But yeah, keep an eye out on Game Reactor as as soon as we get to actually try out some of the new content in Elder Scrolls Online, you'll be the first to know. See ya.